Hello. A few years ago, I never thought I would be into Linux as much as I am. However, I think how it happens for many people, whenever Windows Vista sunk me, I went over to Mac, and then 10, 15 years later, I saw Windows 10 and I thought, maybe I'll like it again. It only took me about 4 days before I realized I didn't like it, but I had to redeem that purchase somehow, and I did so with Linux. I'll cut the small talk though. Today, I want to talk to you about the Trinity Desktop Environment. I have been in Linux for about 2 or 3 years, and I've looked at GNOME. I prefer GNOME. I've looked at Mate. I've looked at XFCE, which is kind of my favorite because I'm weird, and a few other desktop environments. Haven't really looked at KDE. Haven't really looked at some of the other ones. Cinnamon, of course, looked at that. But I've been interested in TDE, Trinity Desktop Environment. One of my friends uses it, he says, on MX Linux. I've looked at a few videos, but they just don't have many videos on TDE, so I thought, why not A, me try it finally, and B, make a video about it. So I'm going to put it on my Debian, which I currently have Debian XFCE, and I'll let you know how it goes. Alright, let's dig in. Okay, I lied. This is not my Debian laptop. It's actually my son's. As you can see, it says Calvin's Media Player. So this is actually my son's. He's 5 years old. He hardly uses this. We wanted a way to play music in his room. But as you can see, I'm just trying to do my usual updates and upgrades before I start the process of putting TDE on here. And I was a little bit confused here, first of all, as to what to do. Finally, I realized auto remove. That's what I need to do. And so we're going to do that. And then we're going to prepare to put TDE on here. So as I'm waiting for the updates to finish, I go online here to the webs, looking in DuckDuckGo here to look how to put it on Debian. I knew it was pretty easy. I looked earlier. It's right there on their website. And as you can see here, Debian is not the only one you can put it on. Look at all those other distros you could put it on. My friend has it on MX Linux. So basically, the first thing we got to do is basically grow our source list. Looks easy enough. Just use the editor and update our sources list. Well, it turned out to be a bit more of a problem for me than I anticipated. I'm not a big fan of terminal programs, so I brought up the mouse pad. And what I just decided to do was, while my device was still upgrading, I'm going to copy those extra sources onto a mouse pad. And then whenever this is finished upgrading and updating, I would then open up with root privileges my sources list. And so you'll see how that went. You can also see by my cool clock up there in the top left that I didn't do this as chronological as it appears on the video. So the download is done. I'm going to use sudo to open up Thunar, which is the file manager. And I'm going to go find that sources list file. It all started here is where my problems, I think, happened. Whenever I found the file, I just double-clicked on the file, and it wanted to bring up LibreOffice Writer, which I was just thinking automatically, oh, it's going to open up with Mousepad or some other text editor. Or maybe I told it accidentally to open up LibreOffice Writer. Obviously, here you see I clicked the wrong thing first. And then, but there's the sources list down there with the plain text. And so, then you'll see what happens. This was the first time I used LibreOffice on my son's laptop. Again, all we've really used it was for doing music. But I thought, what the heck, I guess this should work. So I just copied and I pasted it to the bottom of the list here. And then I replaced what they told me to replace. You replace, it says your distribution name here. I'm using Bullseye, so I replaced Bullseye in all of those. And yeah. I said, certainly I want to save this as a text format. And still wondering, I'm sure I messed it up somehow. But we'll find out. So the next thing we had to do, according to our handy dandy trusty desktop environment website, just go find it in my history here. And the next thing we had to do was import a signing key. You could do that with wget, and I was just kind of clueless again. This is my son's laptop. I wasn't thinking right. I have my own Debian laptop, which I think I do have wget on that. And I found out in the terminal here that no, I don't have wget installed. So this began a long process to figure out I had messed up my sources list. Because I was getting impatient, I said, well, maybe I'll go and, oh, see, there it is, wget command not found. So I said, well, I know I've downloaded it before in the Synaptic Package Manager. So thought I would open up that, and boom, there is the error that bugged the heck out of me for an entire night. We are now several minutes later after I had to rewrite my sources list from scratch, which is available on Debian, and I did it with the Nano Terminal Editor, and I included the sources that I needed in that first part of installation of TDE, and here I am installing wget, and then after that we just go back here, Control C, and in order to put in the terminal you have to do Control Shift V to input into the terminal. So and here we go, enter, got that. Now we go on to the next thing we have to do to install Trinity. I'm thinking I'm just, which tells you, oh yeah, you have to put the keyring in there too. So we did that. And then we go to the next thing to install Trinity, which tells us simply just sudo apt-get update, sudo aptitude install IDE Trinity. You're going to find out here that I tried aptitude and my terminal just wanted apt. Those may have been older directions. I don't know if Debian doesn't understand aptitude or if my laptop's just crazy or what. And of course, I'm gonna sign off here after this this part of the video. It probably on my Wi-Fi out in the boonies, it took me a good half hour, 45 minutes to get all of those files in. And I'll see you at boot up now. Now you see my setup of how advanced I am with my photography here, but I have to do it this way because obviously we don't have a screen recorder for boot up. At least I don't. So we're gonna boot up. And if all my calculations are correct, I should be in the TDE here. All right, yep. So let's just continue with my usual. Oh, looks like we're in, oh, I didn't select TDE in the top part. I told it to go into XFCE. So, okay. Says log on to TDE menu. There we go. Session type. I want TDE here. Now let's try it. All right, yes. USA, English. All right, TDE. Sure, I guess we could try Microsoft Windows, but I think I want to try TDE here. As you can see, I have a touch screen. Sure. Ooh, and I can change the style. This is the differences here. Platinum, Redmond, we can look like the good old-fashioned Windows. Sunshine, TDE Classic style. There's the default. there's the classic. Let's go with default. I do like the old-timey stuff going on here, though. Alright, I can use the control center. And then let's see, here we are. Whenever you see the screen pop up, hopefully I will then open my screen recording tool. Alright, we got a loading and initializing and all that stuff. Alright. Useful tips. Okay, so. Ooh. So if you put it on your computer, this is what the first screen is going to look like. Just some useful tips. Telling you about the desktop. There's the command center. So looks like you have your regular icons over here. Looks like old-fashioned Windows. Wait until you see the start menu. See? You know, I usually would say Windows 95 or 98 on that left thing, but your basic, start menu. Edutainment, games, and card games, graphics, internet, so web browser, Konqueror. So this is interesting. Maybe we'll look at Konqueror here in a minute as we look at the multimedia. Here's your Office. Looks like you got a lot of LibreOffice. And settings, control center, appearance and themes, colors, icons. So there's the icons that you can look at. You can see there's different themes. You can download new themes. You know, if somebody wanted to go out and make this look like Windows 98 or Windows XP, Windows 7, they could probably do it on good old Trinity Desktop. So let's try this one, the classic icon theme. And then advanced. Looks like a lot of different things you can do here. You know, maybe you noticed as we were looking at stuff, there's a lot of Konqueror, a lot of KDE stuff. If you didn't know, Trinity is a fork of when KDE, I believe, is a fork of KDE 3.5. So, anyways, here we are looking at the colors. You can put some different colors. I'm sure you could download some more. Looks like you can even do some dark mode type colors. So, just looking through all of them. As you can see, there was a Redmond XP and a Redmond 95. That Redmond is a way of saying Windows without saying Windows. I think I'll try this. You can change the contrast. Interesting. Make sure here. Change a lot of different things about widgets. Hit the apply. Okay. Let's try the old Konqueror here. This is the file management system, but I've heard it doubles as a web browser, which is pretty cool. So you can go to your files, or you just click up here and just say, you know, I want to go look at videos. But as you can see, it seems to be a rather old-timey type browser, so I don't know if it's going to be up to par in terms of everything it needs to be on. Seems to be loading kind of slow and not loading everything, so I don't know what this is. I think you can just look for things up there. Seems to be like a search tool. As you can see, YouTube is loading up fast. Not really. Let's just see if it knows another website here. See what Google looks like. Oh, well, we seem to be loading stuff up here. Interesting. That's weird though. Kind of makes it look like I'm looking it up in 1998. Let's see if it loads up Facebook. Wow, it wants to ask about cookies every single time. Well, you're not getting pictures and graphics, but you kind of got Facebook. But this is just the Konqueror browser. I know we still have the good old faithful Firefox because of Debian. ESR it used to be called Iceweasel, but then Debian and Mozilla came to some agreement, and Mozilla just reverted back to a Firefox name with ESR. Man, don't you love that load time for Firefox? Uh, I noticed Chrome seems to load faster on Debian. Um, yeah. So bringing up YouTube. On my screen recording tool, I thought I checked audio, but it turns out I didn't, which is why I'm doing voiceover. But whenever I finally got a video to play on this, I want to let you know it came out of my speakers on my laptop just fine. Let's look up a video that I made here a while ago on my channel. I'm just curious. I'm not signed in to YouTube, obviously, but I wanted to see where it's at in terms of lineup. Not here. Not here. Probably because I don't have that many views according to the other videos. There it is, The Necessity of the BSB. 467 views. So let's just see here. Seems to be loading up okay. It just feels so funny because I'm used to seeing all this stuff on my snazzy up-to-date MacBook, or even the up-to-date Linuxes. I feel like I'm looking at this in a, like I said, like Windows 98 or something. I think I'm not logged into the best internet. I might be logged into my extended, is in the back room of my house and not where I'm at. Yep, that's the case. So let me see. I have to wait until my other internet shows up here. Wow, I'm finally talking though, and like I said, I could hear it. But yeah, it's taking forever to load though. So let's see if I can connect here. Way to go. Hey, don't look. I'm going to put my password in here. Oh, I'm not even doing it because I didn't select the white box here. There we go. Kevin is very sexy. Yeah, that was bad. But it worked, I think. Yep, connected. So let's give this a refresh. And now we're banging on all cylinders, going pretty fast. Good, so it wasn't the internet or the desktop environment. So as I said, it worked on my computer, but I wasn't capturing audio with my wonderful audio app screen, or record screen. Let's look at this. This is called a workspace or desktop switcher. I don't know, I guess I'm using them a little bit more often, but I just don't use them. So you can change it, apply, so now you only see I have one down there, and I'm sure if I just configured the panel, I could take off the workspace switcher altogether. So that's what the configure looks like. Interesting. You could hide things on the panel. And as we're looking over these other options, just for those who aren't aware, workspace or desktops basically gives me whole new desktops to work with. So, right now I have on the bottom there, you can see I have 2 apps running, and I could click on them. Well, if I went to a separate desktop, those would disappear, and I can open up brand new all these apps. So the only times I use them is sometimes on whatever computer I'm using. If I'm working on, I'm a pastor, so say if I'm working on a sermon and I have that up, and then like maybe 2 or 3 apps up for sermon prep, I might use a different desktop to do email, and then or maybe if I'm working on a movie like this. So that's whenever that comes in handy. But sometimes I just don't find myself opening 50 billion apps all the time, so I'm usually fine with one workspace. So here's all these options here. So there's quite a bit of meddling and stuff you can do. Let's take a look at the control center, see what other things we can play around with here. All right, looks like theme manager. Okay, that's the thing that we selected on whenever we open this, but like you said, you can install some new themes. Desktop panels, that's kind of where we were just at, just a different way to get there. Interesting, interesting. So those look like apps that you could set as the default fonts here. So you can change all the fonts in your desktop environment. As you can see, they're using a lot of sans serif. This is going to be the window top, so where it says select font, Trinity Control Center, and then you can set it for anything you want. So I can make it look old-timey, make it look like a typewriter, or you can go online, download your own font. I do that a lot for Debian, and other times I get GNOME. I really like the Ubuntu font, and that's free online. Download it, and then set Ubuntu as your primary font throughout all your desktop. I guess I'll just try that out. Looks a lot like what I just had, but apply. There we go. And that's just something to play around with later. Let's take a look at the desktop. Change this plain blue Jane picture here. And there you go. That's weird. They don't really bring up icons, so you just get to go through and see the preview over here to the right. And pretty nice, pretty nice. I'll just keep going around here. Autumn leaves, that didn't really... It looks like you have a lot of choices from out of the box. Of course, you can always go online and get your own. I think I like that. Maybe find a default color to kind of go with that. Hit the old smackaroonie on the apply, and there we go. And what else can we do over here? Device icons. The display shows you the screen size. Pretty nice. Let's try the kickoff menu. It should change the menu, the start menu here, kind of give it a different look. Not too shabby, not too shabby at all. Look at the history of where you've been, what you've been doing. And leave applications. So just if you want something different, something spiffy, something a little bit more modern, here it is. I edited out some time I did here, so we're back to the other menu here, but I thought I might show you how to just change this panel here. So I remove the Konqueror. Say if I want to put good old Firefox down there on the main panel, so I can quickly get to it if I want to. And maybe if I want to put some Office Writer down there, if I feel like I'm going to be doing some Office Writer. And as you can see, it kind of moves stuff around the panel, so let's just move this back to the regular position. That's how you would do that. Well, you know, I think I'm liking what this looks like. If anybody wants like an old-fashioned, old-timey, nostalgic feel, this would be a good desktop environment. Yeah, so like it. Thanks for watching.